Welcome to GTFO episode 13. I am your host, Don, also known as Crivian. With me are my two co-hosts tonight, Steve, also known as Godmocker.
Yo.
And Dwayne, known as Greer Reaver.
That's me.
And standing in for George in the lower right corner is Tony Romo.
Hey.
He's not actually here. He said he wasn't going to talk because he doesn't want
ass.
anything attributed to him, but he said he would stand in for George, and he's just going to stand there. Yeah, so.
Wow.
All right.
And
First thing I want to talk
I
about.
watched Brady last night make a fool of himself. Did you watch that?
You watched what?
Brady?
Oh, yeah, I heard he didn't play that well last night.
Oh,
That's
my
what,
God. It was
somebody was telling me in
unbelievably
TeamSpeak.
bad. Yeah, it was terrible. It was embarrassing. Thank God it was preseason, though.
Well,
Anyway.
Cowboys are tomorrow, so I'll see how that's going. I'm starting to get into the build-up. Cowboys support again. They're going to have a good year. You're going to be heading to the Super Bowl.
What the fuck?
You're going to win it all. You're going to win it all.
Well, that sounds like what's probably not going to
Going to
happen.
beat the Giants 0-2.
Yeah.
Is going to
That
make the
sounds-
Giants. Yeah.
So like a severe psychotic break or something.
No, I'm telling you,
Whatever.
you watch.
Oh,
I'm
I
telling
will.
you, I'm good to go. So,
All
did you guys have a good week this week? I know we're doing the show tonight to make sure that you guys are both off tomorrow because you're so hooked on Final Fantasy that you're going to be jumping
When
into
you say
that, so-
tomorrow, it's like at 5 o'clock in the morning, so
I'll be get up at 4. I'll be there at
really
4.
early.
Mhm.
Might just be an extension of tonight.
An extension of tonight. Oh my gosh, going straight. I can't do that anymore. I'm too old.
No, I'm not going to be able to. Come on. You know what happens
Yeah,
when
you
I
do
try
that,
to stay
man.
up to level? Like, can I have 10 minutes in?
It sounds
So-
Yeah, we lost you. I can't hear what you're saying.
Awesome.
Yeah.
fucking
So, big thing. Okay, lots of different news and stuff came out this week. And the first thing I want to talk about real quick is because we all, I think, I don't know, I guess we have different views. I know I don't have a problem paying subscriptions, but WildStar and The Elder Scrolls Online both came out in the last couple of weeks and said, hey, we're doing subscriptions. And the forums of both games and Reddit and everything else just blew up. Not quite as bad as Ben Affleck being Batman, but it did blow up. So, I
Yeah.
mean, what do you guys think about this? I mean, and the thing is, it gets so freaking heated. Players get so mad. Oh, this game's gonna suck. It's gonna go free to play. Oh, if it doesn't go free to play, it's gonna fail. No subs, great. Free to play or a bunch of mooching. Blah 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 blah. What do you guys think about this? Is it relevant? Does it matter?
Dwayne.
Well, honestly, yeah. Like I get what you're saying, and I agree with you because people, it's really like the nature is people just freak out about everything right now. Like that's the internet exists, and other people get to freak out, and then you read someone else freak out, kind of makes you freak out. But this battle is simple. Like really, it does matter. Like the reason people are so passionate about it is, I want to play all these games. So if I'm like a proponent for free to play, then I want to scream down subscription to the point where it does not exist anymore, so that every game that comes out free to play, because then I'll be able to play them all. Or if I really love subscription and I dislike the way the free to play model has changed subscription games, then I really want to shout that down so that the next game that comes out that I might want to play doesn't go the model I don't like, and then I end up not playing it simply because I don't like the payment model or whatever. So I can see why people get really passionate about it. I mean, if you think, you just like that's at least that's how I feel about it. Like I don't want the next game that comes out to be something I.
Do you think maybe it's an age thing? You think the older? I mean,
when it comes to the forums, it's always an age thing, man.
Oh, with the forums, yeah. But I'm saying even the argument, can you take it to an age thing, maybe? I mean, I'm the oldest one here, so I'm 45. All right, so I've been buying my own games since, when was I, 21? In 89.
They were like
whatever,
a nickel, right?
When I was first commissioned in the Navy. And I was buying my own games, and I bought a Sega Genesis, and I bought every game I wanted. If I wanted to play it, I bought it. So I've been doing this for decades. And now, and if a MMO comes out that I want to play, I'm gonna pay for it. And if it's a subscription, I'm gonna pay it. Doesn't even bother me. I mean, is that it? Is that part of it?
Sure. I mean, if you started playing MMOs in the solely subscription era, then you're probably accustomed to paying. Like it's just part of how you've always, that's part of how you always played it. Sometimes, that you're just comfortable with that, you're used to it, whatever. That's how you feel, then you're the person who probably can't stand that you have to buy action bars or silly little things like that because you're used to just giving them money up front and having all of that stuff.
Yeah, I want everything.
And so those are the things that might actually bother you about the other model. And, if you're not used to that, then those things, whatever. Like I'm not used to having 97 bag slots, so if I want to get 97, it doesn't seem unreasonable that I would give a couple extra dollars or whatever.
Well, how about you, Steve? What do you think?
Well, I was like you. I'm 41, about to hit 42 here very soon, and if I wanted it, I bought it. So I am noticing a little bit of a difference. As a matter of fact, it's very strange that here recently I took a break this week. I did the whole Final Fantasy thing, and for some reason I'm finding a lack of interest in anything else. I mean, I'm going through that damn wave thing, where I've got it, it goes away, I got it goes away, that kind of thing. Well, this past week has been a chill week for me, but I'm used to just double-clicking on Rift or Firefall or Guild Wars or something, and just getting in and just going at it. Well, I hadn't loaded WoW on this new computer yet, so I just double-clicked it, and it took me 5 minutes of trying to get in before I realized I should read the message I'm getting, and the message basically, your subscription, you got to pay, dumb shit. And I'm like, oh, wait, wait a minute. Because I was used to just getting in and playing, and then just using my cash to buy whatever I needed. Like with the with the Rift model that's going on, fuck, man, they got 100 times the money out of me that they would have with a sub. So, when I got,
I subbed and I still bought bags.
Well, not just bags, man. Like when my warrior hit 60, Numeric can attest to this, man. I got ridiculously dumb. I blew a couple $100 upgrading every piece that dude had to the purple gear that you can buy from the World Merchant, And then at the end, Numeric's like, oh, but dude, don't worry about it. You could get all this gear if you did dungeons.
Yeah.
I haven't been playing Rift as much as I thought I would once max level, find the time. And man, I mean, I'm not going to drop a couple hundred, but I have wrestled with dropping that $20 coin purchase just to get the entry set, so I can skip that level of gearing up. Just like I just want to skip that part, and it's really hard not to. Really hard not to.
For me, Rift specifically has been dimension items. But I look now, and I go back and I look at the free to play now. Like I said, I'm subscribing to Rift, and I still bought the extra bag spots because I wanted the space. I mean, I like the biggest bags I can get. I'm gonna fill them up. I'd go, and Aeon pisses me off because I'm so freaking limited, and I don't know how to.
But you got me. I'm your bacon Aeon. I can give you cash.
I still don't know how to get all my cubes upgraded. But I look back and it's like Guild Wars. First $40 I spent, bags. Neverwinter. First $50 I spent, bags. That's the thing. Star Wars I didn't have to because I
They're a
subscribed.
sucker for buying bags. That's awesome.
Well,
They
I
don't-
like being. I don't like running out of space.
if you
I
really
like going out and questing.
think about that, like the game was free to play, but they didn't even have to make a game. All they had to do is just make like a bag with like no bag space, and then they could have just sold that to you for the price of a game,
I think
Yeah.
that
which is
most,
great.
and we put this in the forums. I think most game sites that have an actual economist or somebody who's like at least has taken economy, microeconomy,
doing
or
the
microeconomics,
calculations,
understands
yeah.
this. You know what? Free to play games make so much more money off of players than subscriptions
My
do.
God.
And we've got guys like Dimos who say I haven't paid much in a month, and he is the very small minority. I just have to believe he is the very small minority, and he's being headstrong. And I'm not gonna. You know what? He gets everything he needs. He does, but he plays the hell out of it to get the stuff he needs. And I look at it and say, yeah, I'm not gonna waste 4 hours grinding this crap. Let me just buy 2 bags.
There you go.
So I
Not
can
just
go,
two
so I can
bags.
go do what I like, what I enjoy.
Especially with the Rift thing, I unlocked every slot on my character and every slot in my bank, and I put a 24 slot bag in every one. I said, I'm not even going to screw around. I'm just going to go hook myself up, and then I'll get to doing what I want to do.
So, okay, well, going back though to what we started talking about though, the subscription, does it matter in the end? Does it really matter if games come out subscription, non-subscription?
I think it depends on your point of view. If you're a developer, hell yes, it matters. Go free to play. Make yourself a fortune. If you're a player, the only time I think it matters is if you're one of these people who just are penny pinchers, because like you and I, we're going to buy a subscription. If it's a subscription game, yeah, I'll pay for subscription. But if you got a cash shop, yeah, I'm going to buy some shit for a cash shop.
The funny catch in there is that you can buy the game, play the game, and you usually get 30 days free.
Usually.
Yep.
So, I mean, you got a month of playing to figure out if
Yeah.
you don't like it. So,
But that's
so it isn't like
risky
they're
on the
locked out of the
developer
games.
Yeah, that's risky for developers because they're giving you that shows their confidence. They're saying, I'm going to give you 30 days to get into the game. And if you've never played it, you're going to see how cool it really is. And if you subscribe, we'll make it even cooler for you. But some people may get into that thing. Most, I don't know. It seems to me that in general, you can be in a game for 5 or 10 minutes, and you're going to know whether or not you want to play that thing ever again.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. And then, but some games, you hear it Rift, and we've all experienced it now. The game's different at 60.
Oh, it is.
There's the pre-60 game, and then there's the 60 game.
Yeah.
There was like Terra. I just, I just kept wishing it was going to get better the whole time. Like, maybe the next level. Hey, maybe next level it won't be the same mobs from the last level reskinned. Oh, it is again. They got me.
I know. Godmocker was saying, I was out there pulling mobs. He's like, all right, pull 5 more of those little swirly things over here. Let's just nuke them down and continue on.
Yeah.
So,
then it's, okay, let's res mocker.
Yeah. Well, okay, talking the subscription thing, tomorrow morning, and I think we're all in it, early access Final Fantasy, and this okay, it's subscription. Now we've got some hardcore. I mean, we've got our hardcore Guild Wars group, which is on a lot are in the free to play, not all of them, but are in there. And then we've got Final Fantasy launching now. It's another major branch for our community coming out. I think we're starting with 65 active members, and it's a subscription game. All right, and they came out and said it's subscription. It's going to be subscription now. And what I want to talk about is kind of hype. Because Final Fantasy's coming out. This is the second launch. But this is Final Fantasy 14. All right? It has a long history. I mean, when did Final Fantasy 1 come out? Over a decade ago?
I actually can't tell you. Yes, over.
Yeah, so you've got Final Fantasy coming out. One of the other ones, the Elder Scrolls Online.
Probably.
One of the first Elder Scrolls. I mean, we're talking games awesome. Now that are established. And take WildStar. I guess WildStar is kind of the anomaly. But these are games that are coming out. They've got a following that they can count on. They know how many. You can base it and look every year.
A base
each version, how much they sell. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you guys think about this? I mean, Final Fantasy, this is a relaunch. I mean, the first one failed.
My God, epically, yeah.
But this is the same game, name.
Yeah.
Now they changed mechanics.
The engine
kind of
is awesome.
storylines and stuff in. Sorry, but questing to me is still annoying as hell. I'm sorry, I hate silence and scrolls that pop up on the screen.
There's
But
where
I'll
the
end up to
players
just
are
ignore
different.
it.
Yeah.
I
I was fine.
if I was gonna have a grief about my time so far, it's the odd placement of voice acting. It's like everywhere where you think it should be, it's kind of not, and then it'll like pop up, and they'll be like, I don't know, 5 or 10 sentences, and then it'll like cut out, and then the same cutscene will come up with the same two people, but then it won't be voiced. It'll be like
Yeah.
it's like, here's a few voice lines to get you going. Now the rest is in text, so you're probably gonna skip
Yeah.
through it.
So, I mean, Final Fantasy has a lot resting on this next couple weeks, right? I mean, because it's been
Square
rehyped.
has
It's
Square-
Yeah,
well
but
revisited.
It is volcanic hot, man. I mean, it really, really is. The early access is going to be absolutely packed, and when that thing goes live, man, them servers are going to be absolutely packed.
What do you
They are
think
go-
the last open beta helped them then? Because
Oh,
3102 killed my time.
Absolutely, I think it did. I really do think it did. I think it helped a lot. The people that really love it and would play either way got their fix, and it made it. They're looking for the pusher. I mean, they're looking for another hit. They're ready to go, like Quist and those. I mean, they're tapping the vein. They are so ready to go. And the people that had questions when they got in, especially like myself, I mean, this new system that I hooked up with, when I logged into that game, man, no joke, during the open beta, and cranked everything, I was stunned. I was absolutely blown away at how incredible it looked. So to get into the dungeons, I actually got those 3-2. It made me want to come back. It really did. And the whole idea that those classes, that you can roll one tune and you can be every class. You can level up every class and every craft. You can do all that. I love that whole idea. So it's got me. I'm going to go ahead and play without a doubt.
Yeah,
So
I actually
think
like that.
At 4 a.m. it's going to be packed.
I like the one tune able to do everything a lot too, and I like it more than I liked the Secret World version of it.
Oh, Secret World.
I
still like Secret World.
That idea.
I can't stand Funcom, but I like Secret World.
See, much like and the reason it was too much is because there was so many abilities that you could mix and match that
Oh yeah.
there was I swear to God, 90% of the wheel was throwaway. You know what I mean? There was like 10 good specs out of all of that, and people found them, and then there was just so much of the
So is that going to be
it made
EverQuest
so
next?
many abilities that you never even used most of them. Like I imagine that I've only used 10% of the ability. Use them like, hey, look, what's this to do? Oh, that's what it does. All right, not going to be able to use that for anything. But yeah, I like the idea of that. It just, I don't think it worked out that well in that game.
You know what? You bring
like
up a good
the
point.
idea
I'm
of just
curious.
leveling
I have to
your
think that
stuff.
Funcom has statistics on this, and I've seen Blizzard do it. Blizzard, you remember the talent trees in the beginning, vanilla, and the talent trees, how they've morphed to be getting complex 3 trees, multiple crossovers, single trees, down to what they are now. I'm assuming, Funcom with the Secret World, or some of these games, they've got to have metrics on how much all of these abilities are used. And if you look at an ability and say, wow, this thing's used like, we have 100,000 players and it's been used 20 times in the last month, maybe we need to look at that one. I mean,
surely,
assuming.
but all games do that. Like, if you want to bring it back, look at WoW, they do that. I mean, that's every patch. That's what people bitch about every patch.
The little
They're always
tweaks, yeah.
changing stuff. They're always tweaking stuff. Now, but if your wheel is that, how do you get to all those? The reason that, some of those might even be useful that we've never even attempted to use, because it's like, why am I going to get to all of those? And then, so it's really impossible to balance all of them. There's no way that works.
Well,
and
I think one of the things that makes it unfun is the flavor of the month.
Right. Well, in
you're going to chaos tank.
The game didn't last long enough for them to start doing that with all their abilities. Like, and I'm sure they don't possess a team
Well, you
large
guys
enough
played
to be
more than
able
me
to
then.
undertake that at this point.
How's the Final Fantasy stuff? How many hot bars do you get? How many keys do you get? You get overloaded. You get to pick and choose. Or you're limited.
It's
What do you recall?
it looks to me like the way it'll set it up is when I'm done max level, I'll probably have the typical 2 bars full of actions that, and even then, like, I have 2 bars, 3, 2.5 in WoW, and you don't use all of, you push some of them every 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Some of them are cooldown, some whatever. You get basically whatever your like job is. You get like there's like a main class attached to it, and then you get like X number of abilities from 2 or 3 other classes. Not all their abilities, but like X number of them. And you can use, you can only use so many at a time. You know what I mean? So basically, you end up with, I don't know, I'm guessing 4 to 6 abilities from other classes, or from the rest of your skill set on your bar, and then all of your main abilities, which is, I don't know, 10, 12, 15. I don't know, to be honest.
What do you think, Steve? I mean,
Mm.
because this is leading me to my next question for you guys.
Go.
Well, my question is now, because you know me, I said I was not going to play Final Fantasy. I do this with every game. I'm going to play. Whatever game comes on, I'm going to play. I'm going to play WildStar. I'm going to play Elder Scroll. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go to max level eventually, and then I'll either continue or not. That's just the way it is. So I'm jumping into Final Fantasy now, and I tell you what, I have, in all honesty, I ignored all the forums. It's like Guild Wars.
Good.
I don't read the Guild Wars forums. I just
Good.
don't. I'm like, I don't play the game. So, but now I'm going into this launch, and I see, a little shop box on the website go up, Quiz saying this, or Air, or Rev, or somebody, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do this. And I'm like, I have no freaking idea what you're talking about. I'm going to be soloing this, and I'll probably be okay with that. I'm going to throw on some iTunes, and I'm just going to go cruise around, and everyone's going to be like, you've been playing for 3 weeks, you're level 15? And be like, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen.
That feeling of being overwhelmed and behind.
So your next topic is?
It's the. I mean, have you gone into these games before feeling like, or not being part of the major group, especially when you're in a community, not part of the major group, haven't participated in any of the discussion, and all of a sudden it's just a new game, and you don't know what the hell's going on? Do you ever feel so intimidated? It's like, I'm just going to shut up and just play.
It was in the exact same position with this Final Fantasy. I didn't really have that big of a problem. Matter of fact, I didn't have any problem at all. The only thing that came up was following the quest line. I did need to be told something. Stats are so deep into this thing that if you need to know anything, you just ask either one of those two. Mm-hmm. And the quest chain takes you to a spot where it says, okay, your next step is you have to go into this first dungeon. And then you'll go turn it in, and then after you finish it, and you got to go into a second, and then you got to go into a third. When I said, okay, I need to get a group, I said to some guild chat, and then when I couldn't get they've got the group finder too. So I entered the group finder, and it was like, man, I was in it for like 45 minutes. I said, well, fuck this. I'm not going to sit here and do that. Well, I think Quiz definitely caught on to that, and I logged it out. Well, then the Merritt texted me and says, look, log in, Quiz got somebody for you. And when I logged in, one guy, a healer, grouped with me, and it was bam, 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 all 3 of those things for the quest chain anyway. That was the only time in that entire weekend that I needed to actually be with a group. Everything else is 100% soloable. If you're reading the text, it's going to take you much longer because their texts are very long. But it's totally soloable. The only thing that you're going to want to know is like when you're going to do your job thing. You got to figure out which class. But to me, I was going to do them all anyway. But I wanted to focus on like the dragoon, so I needed to know what my main and what my sub was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And once you've done that, and once you realize that the change that you have to do that I found was change your weapon. Open your inventory, right-click it, and when it equips, you're the new. Well, you have to join the guild first. Like
Yeah.
The Lancer Guild you had to join when you're going to be a Lancer starting off, and you do all their
yeah,
quests.
okay, yeah.
When you've gotten that to 20 or whatever, you get permission to go join other. I don't know if it's 20. I think it's earlier than that. But that guy gives you permission to go in other guilds if you feel like it. And so when you find out, or when you get told that, you can go to your sub guild, and most likely it's in another freaking city. And you say, I want to join. It's okay. You want to join? Sure. Here's your weapon, level 1 weapon. Go do some stuff for me. As soon as you equip that level 1 weapon, you are a level 1 whatever.
Oh, okay.
So if you equip your lance, like your level 20 lance, boom, you're back to being a level 20 lancer.
That's pretty
It's
interesting.
really that simple. Yeah. So once you've gotten that, once I got that, the game is actually very, very simple. So don't worry about it, man. The soloing thing is no big deal.
Well, I was just saying, have you gone in? What about other games? Have you gone into other games like that? Just completely blind? I mean, we
Damn
used to do it
near
all the time.
one of them. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think that, as far as the question, that I kind of liked that overwhelmed feel.
We tend to post a lot of information about games coming up, and I usually
Great
read it
community.
all.
That's 'cause we
What
have a great
happens
community.
is we post so much that it usually ends up being information overload to the point where I don't really retain a lot of it. I read it all, but I don't always retain a lot of it. But I really like going into that. Like, first of all, it's an MMO, so as far as are you going to know what to do? Yes. I mean, you're not going to be, just standing in the city because, you get quests, you complete them, you get some gear, you talk to some people, you do a dungeon, you do a quest, it's basic stuff. There's dynamic events, which are just, events that happen every now and then. They don't really move or dynamically do anything that I've seen so far, although I don't know about the later game. But in all these games, I find that fun, like the little nuances where how the works, how you interact with your guild, what the different functionality is. That's kind of fun at the beginning of the game. Like, that's usually the time where I'm not necessarily, like, the first few, however long, where I'm not really talking to anybody. I'm just going through and figuring it all out. I found it, in Final Fantasy, it was painless. Guild Wars.
I guess my concern is I've seen it in other games where you go in, you don't have all the info, and then 20 levels later someone says, oh, you should have done that in Zone 1, and from level 5 to 10 you should have gained these abilities. And I'm like, screw it, I'm not going back.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to keep going.
At that point, that's really just, your choice. Like, if you were really interested in the game, you would probably know some of that stuff. If you're only mildly interested in it, then you're probably just going to go into it half-assedly, and then if you miss some stuff, so be it. That's just, that's how you choose to play.
If I got told I missed something, I'm going back. Yeah, my OCD.
I'm not going to be missing anything.
No, I'll go back and do it. I'll definitely go back and do it. If it lets me, anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, changing it up a little bit. We were talking a little bit about the show, and you guys had brought up the topic of maybe discussing the cost of upgrades. And I think you were talking more about, new game coming out, so, Final Fantasy has the benchmarks. And it's cool, because, we didn't really, I haven't seen that out of anything else. Did Terra have that, maybe?
No.
I think it might have had a benchmark.
No. It gave you a minimum requirement, but it also gave you a recommended.
Yeah,
So, but with Final Fantasy, though, we've had a couple people who have been upgrading parts of their system.
Or whole systems.
Or whole systems.
Yeah.
But we've seen people do this. I mean, I did it. I retired just in time and upgraded my computer so that it would be awesome with SWTOR.
Right.
And because that was the top at the time, I wanted to run it in great blah, blah, blah. And then it
I did it.
That's a separate thing, but...
My switch from WoW to Rift was the first time I ever really did it, and it was like, because I switched and the game was unplayable. I'm like, well, if I want to play this game, I'm probably going to have to get a computer that can play it, because running around, like, look, a Rift event, I better get as far away from that as possible, or I'm not going to be able to move. Be standing still until it's over, or I need to get over there.
But the balance is, it comes then with the gameplay of the game you really want to play and being able to play it. Like you said, the whole thing of being in Rift is to go do the zone event where you've got 1,000 mobs pouring through the plane of fire or whatever to come in. And so you can fight them. But if you're and I've been there because I did. I played WoW or some of these other games at like Rift. When we used to fight Infiltrator Jolin, I would drop down to like 3 frames per second. I'm like, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
the worst experience. I love raiding. This is the worst experience in raiding ever. And so now we go in and it's like, oh, no problem. But it costs. I mean, that costs a lot. So I mean,
Oh, it was worth it. I'm going to tell you right now, it was absolutely worth it. As long as you build it for to last you into the future, you know, you're not going to be
how
disappointed.
long?
6
What
years
would
at
you
least.
recommend? 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems unreasonable to think it's gonna last 6. Like, it's funny.
Mine lasted 6.
That initial build from Rift got me almost 2 years, and it probably the build was still very, very fine if I didn't want to start, trying to live stream stuff or like really record video that doesn't look terrible. I probably wouldn't have had to start upgrading again. But even now that I have done that and I have that, it's like, well, I, can keep it pretty steady where I never drop below 30 frames and whatever I'm playing. But now I think I want to spend $200, $300, $400 more so that I never drop below 60 frames, or at least 50
and you're bringing up
or whatever.
You're bringing up a great point, Dwayne. Kind of right into what I was thinking, because I got my system 2 years ago when Star Wars came out, or just almost 2 years now.
Right.
But for Star Wars, and it runs everything fine. I don't have any problems running any games. However, I'm starting to look at new graphics cards, and then I'm going to start looking at sound cards in a year, or I'm going to start.
But that's the nerd for you, man.
You want the, well, I mean, who wants to play Star Citizen?
Right
What
here.
do you need to run that?
Right here.
Yeah,
Can't wait to play that.
I vaguely know what that is, but I've seen it's the really shiny ship game, right? When you get
Yeah.
really
Oh
shiny
my
ships.
God, yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
air-to-air combat.
Pretty
And that's
sparkly.
fast-paced Twitch.
Well, and if
Lag,
they
you
manage
die.
to incorporate anything like the scale of battles from like something like Eve or something, and try to have decent, like obviously the reason why if you've ever seen the video, it's stupid because if you zoomed in, nobody would be able to run that battle because there's 9,000 things on the screen. And so they zoom out to that really stupid, and nobody would. I don't know. It's pointless to actually record the video at that point because nobody wants to watch like Galaga on the screen because that's not entertaining.
That's true.
But at the same time, if you're in that, I guess it's cool. I mean, actually,
I've got
the
the
idea
minimum
that
specs
looks
for
cool.
that.
Well, you
I probably
know-
won't play that game because I've seen it in that mode. Like,
Well,
is
Steve,
that
I mean,
how
the
it
other
is?
part that-
No.
The other part
What?
that comes in that affects people across the country. I mean, this is taking it one step further. You can have the best computer in the world if you've got Infinity or not Xfinity. If you've got InTouch cable connection, you're not playing it. I don't care how fast your computer is.
No, you're not. No,
You know,
you're
you're
That's
gonna
true.
do
I mean, all that
0.8
comes into
upload
play.
and 2 meg down or 2 gig download.
My
You're gonna
parrot was
die.
saying in chat though, it's like at this point now, it's so much easier to build a system today. Like the resources exist a lot more, which makes it easier to want to get that next upgrade. And I think that's where we're all at. But that's what I mean. Like if you think about it, like I've owned every console, and like they get increasingly expensive. And we debated the prices of the PS4 and the Xbox One. Like, oh, that's a lot, blah blah. And compared to my computer, it's nothing. I mean, and admittedly, like we were talking about a little bit pre-show, like it's basically just outdated technology. But as far like it does everything now. It's not like before it was like, all right, I'm gonna
tell you
spend
what.
way more on my computer than I do
I don't-
on that. But it does all these other things and everything.
Where I
does
might
all
get
those
lag on my PC, I don't get lag on my Xbox.
because it's I mean it's the draw there, the draw to that and what they try to when you play on that, everybody's playing on the same thing, which certainly makes it easier to keep it right
Yeah.
because everybody has the same equipment. You don't have to worry about any weird things popping up in compatibility or anything crazy
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, it's not as fun though. Like I want to open it up.
I never really modded out my Xbox or anything stupid,
Neither have I.
but fun.
My son did to his. And of course, got his account banned at least 3 or 4 times.
I'm not even gonna say a thing.
So,
That's awesome.
all right,
Do it.
you guys ready for some quick fire questions?
I'm very
In the
ready.
show. All right. 30. Remember, you get 30 seconds to answer, and I'm gonna go Steve, Dwayne, back and forth. Steve, next big game after Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy's done. Next big
EverQuest
game.
Next. EverQuest Next is going to hit a giant hole in the planet, man, when it gets released. I have a feeling that all the EQ people that have been holding on for years are older now, have more money. They probably are willing to put money into better systems just to get into EQ Next. I think when they hit, if they do it right, they're going to hit the marketing and advertising just as big as WoW did, and if they do, they're going to have millions of subscribers. Millions.
Dwayne, next big game.
Oh, same
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, damn. I mean, that's probably the next big game on the horizon. Gosh, I wasn't thinking about what's
Oh,
next after that. I thought I was going to the next question.
No, you can say the same game. Just back it up. 30 seconds.
All right. Well, I mean, it's going to be because it's one of those games that has the hype machine will be driven so hard, and it already has been because it's been there and then it's been gone, and it's coming. Oh, it's not. Or is it? Maybe it's not. I don't know. Are they going to do it? And now it's like, bam, here it is, and they're like, bam, new stuff they've never seen in a. And even if it ends up being terrible, people are going to like, I have to try this new stuff. They built new stuff. Anytime you put a new idea in, and you attach it to a really positive,
Beep,
experience.
beep. It's your time. Your time's running.
30 seconds to wait, God damn it.
30 seconds. All right. Dwayne's gonna use it all.
Good.
Here we go. Dwayne, your question. Biggest pet peeve when using voiceover, VoIP, TeamSpeak, Vent, whatever. What's your biggest pet peeve when using it?
My biggest pet peeve is, I don't know. I don't want to say it because it probably pissed, but it's people who are in it that can't talk. I don't mind, like, if you can't talk for a reason, but I can't watch chat when I'm in voice chat, and I can't keep up with it. And so those people get ignored by me, and it's awful, and I feel bad for them. But that's the way it is.
Steve, biggest pet peeve in voice over IP?
Oh man, it's just the other people. It comes down to other people. It's just like being in a room full of other people. With in person to person, are going to be assholes you don't want to be around. But voice over IP or at least TeamSpeak, you're there, but you can leave. So if you really need to do it, you're going to have problems. But the biggest pet peeve for me is other people.
All right, Steve, and I already know your answer on this one, I think. What do you prefer, solo or group leveling? And
Solo.
Why?
Solo because I can take my time, and I get to read all the text without somebody like, say, if you've ever quested with Scott or Vader, holy freaking crap, it's get it, run, get it, run, get it, run, turn in, get it, run. I can't do that. I just can't. And plus, I walk around the place, look at this, I'm looking at scenery, I'm going up and talking to NPCs, just the quest whenever I feel like it, and then I move on. I do it at my own pace. That's why I do solo.
Dwayne, solo or group? What do you prefer?
Gosh,
And why?
But I am in solo all the time. I like group content because it's always slower, but it just, I don't know. I'll fall asleep when I do too much solo content. Like I get I don't know. I can't do it. I need someone to talk to. I need people around. I generally, when I level, I solo all the time because that's just, that's just how it is. It's hard to continue on with the same people all the time. Make people play at your play schedule. But that's what I like to do. I prefer to have people to go with me.
All right, Dwayne, what do you think the future of gaming is? Indie or established companies?
Oh gosh, both. I mean, I think they're both I think they both are gonna continue to be strong. Indie has found a nice niche, it seems. They're really strong in the mobile market right now, and they're really strong in general. And I don't think that's gonna go away because more and more tools are appearing easier, and access is better everywhere. But the big game companies aren't going away. They're giants, and they're not going anywhere.
I'm getting bigger. Steve?
Can't really say anything on the mobile market because the mobile market to me is non-existent. I can't give you that. But I got to give the indie people some cred, man. When Tryon came out and did what they did with Rift, they blindsided me. I had no idea they were going to be as awesome as they were, and they basically walked up to Big Blizzard and punched them right in the face. There was something about them doing something like that blew me away, and it did exactly what they were hoping it would do. It made me give them, as long as your CS is good and as long as your content is maintained on a regular basis, and you don't count regular basis in quarters, I think you're going to be good.
All right, and Steve, established IP or new IP?
You're talking about
Intellectual
4 or
property.
6?
Intellectual property. What do you what's your opinion on those?
I thought you were talking about protocol.
Not
I prefer
protocol,
IP version 6.
Intellectual
it's
property. So you got WoW. WoW's WoW. Blizzard owns WoW. They built it. It's established. Star Wars, Star Trek
What's the question?
versus Star Citizen. What do you like better? Or is it hard to do established?
I think people like Star Citizen, that guy, man, got in it at the right time. I think what he did is he got into the whole Kickstart thing, asked for a certain amount, and got 3 times what he asked for. So he did exactly what a smart man would do if he was going to develop a company to make money. He says, okay, instead of hiring all this stuff out, like our stop motion activation and our stop motion animation and the design, we're going to build our own. I mean, when you get tens of millions over what you asked for, you basically build companies to do your shit for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the intellectual property thing, I don't know. I think if you establish, you can do whatever you want. So the WoW people, like we said, we've talked about this one. WoW does it. They're familiar. Everybody knows who they are. And they got. Fuck! I can't go into it. Anyway,
we're gonna talk about it in the next couple of weeks.
Next,
Dwayne.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real. So, gosh, I'm a sucker for the stories that I love already. So I'm a big fan of current IPs. I like new stories. I like new IPs. I like them. Or something I'm going to delve hours in. Hopefully they have some, I can dive into it more if I already know the story and love it. If I don't, it was a little harder for me to get into Rift. Great story. The lore's fine. It was hard for me to get started on a new one. Hard for me to get started on the new one. I've been stuck in the WoW lore for a long time, so.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining me tonight for the show. We'll give Isaac some crap. Tony, thanks for standing in for Isaac.
I want to pop in here, though, before you end, though. I want to jump on that whole Star Citizen since you touched on it. If any of you guys ever get a chance, go to that Robert Space Industries, which would be Star Citizen's website. Check out what they've done. You guys, if you're familiar with, like, say you see you're watching television, you see like a Cadillac commercial, and they've got their new CTS or something like that, and they say, new CTS, and they see, the car's driving. Have you ever wanted, luxury with this, that? For one of their ships, and it's just like what you see for an automobile, but it's for a ship. And I mean, they spared no expense on this, and they put a flyer in with it, a giant PDF that is basically selling the ship to the players. Because if you go all the way down the you'll see, by the way, the ship, $75. You can buy these things as if they were,
Nice. That's great marketing. It's great marketing.
I wanted to get in that earlier, but you fucked me on that, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll try. All right, so I'd like to thank Dwayne and Steve for joining me tonight. Thanks, guys. We will be back next week. We're still determining whether Friday and Saturday nights are better. All the info's on the screen there. You can listen to the music. It's all cool. Had a great show this week. Thanks for listening. Have fun in your games this week. And good luck for you Final Fantasy guys who are trying to stay up all night.
You're going to play. Don't even
see you guys
like
at 5 a.m. Woo!
Woo!
When Lick away the dance, uno know that we no care. Rude boy, with your hands in the air. Until morning come, we know where the party there.
Hey mamá, la fiesta comenzó, vámonos a mi cama. Ese patizo, también mi cortada. Voy a hacértelo como hacer limonada. Fácil de preparar y no me dirás nada. Estoy arrepentido como fiesta pagana. Mi pana, nos fuimos hasta mañana. Toda esa gana moviendo esa nalga. Y yo con mi cara te encuentro anal.
Me there with you, dime que te falta. Throw your hands in the air, mano arriba salta. When me there with you, dime que te falta. Throw your hands in the air, mano arriba salta.
Rápido, nítido, eso me dicen al charlar. Hábil con mi ronco, eso me dicen al follar. Baby, bateguear, estoy listo para hacer tu mal. Pero hands up, baby, coming hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Todo el mundo mano arriba, ya llegó el rock boy. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Todo el mundo mano arriba, ya llegó el rock boy.
Baby, está rica, mami, solita, tu cinturita. Yo la quiero coger. Piquetica, tu mamacita, estás bien loquita. Y nos vamos pa'l motel. Está rica, mami, solita, tu cinturita. Yo la quiero coger. Piquetica, tu mamacita, estás bien loquita. Y nos vamos pa'l motel.
España girl can sing ragamuffin. Like John Black, say me wanna tell you something. Represent España girl can sing dance hall. Mi chulo are like bullets, seguro no nothing at all. What them a want, shout ya. Them a want, them a want school ya. What them a want, chat ya. Them a want, them a want roll ya. Hands in the air.
Put your hands up, put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Todo el mundo mano arriba, ya llegó el rock boy. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Put your hands up, baby, put your hands up. Todo el mundo mano arriba, ya llegó el rock boy.
Yeah.
DJ Shaky.
Check it, listen up. This one I be all the freaky girl that they hear who have it broke.
Look up, hands up.
See me wanna see me like that.
That's right.
Like that. So let's up in the air. All the girls they want to broke.